I know everyone's already asking. Yuri's on his way. He's just a little bit late, but he's going to pop in here any second too. Hi, with me today I've got Jim Peary, the
Hey,
voice of
hey.
Raven the Hunter and Marvel Spider-Man 2, and Najee Jeter, the voice of Miles Morales. And
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
voice of Miles Morales in the games, the cartoons. You were weren't you on Ultimate Alliance 3?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
doing your
mean like I know the Spider-Verse movies, everyone loves those, but for me, I think you're like the Miles voice. Like you're the one I hear in my head when I'm reading those books, just because you've done it so many times and you've done it so many different ways.
I appreciate it, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
for me too.
Thank you.
So this is actually the second interview I've ever done. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me, guys.
welcome.
Take your time.
All right.
But yeah, I want to also send a thanks to everyone at Streamily and Rob Fury for selecting me to be the host for this. I'm super stoked. Have you guys done any of these signing type things before?
Go ahead. I've done one.
Yeah, it's probably maybe the third with Streamly, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Maybe the third or fourth.
Yeah, I noticed Yuri has done, I think, a couple of them now. I saw he was doing another one earlier today. He had so many orders. He had like over 100 orders already. It's
all right.
It's crazy. His wrist must be sore already. So
it's nice to have that
big
appreciation from the fans. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a couple of questions I could ask you here today, but I wanted to ask questions that are something maybe you wouldn't normally get asked for interview stuff, but also sometimes something that's also a little bit more standard as well. So we're going to try and keep it even and mix it up. If I throw you a curveball every once in a while,
we'll roll with it.
You just roll with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to ask Jim a question. In my research, I found out that you're from Lakewood, Colorado.
That's correct.
Really?
Are you familiar with Lakewood?
I'm actually I was born in Thornton and raised in Westminster.
Oh, that's awesome!
Family in Lakewood. And I actually want to ask: have you ever eaten at Casa Bonita?
Yes. I haven't been since they redid it, but yeah, growing up, that was
they've totally fixed it up. It's so nice. Oh. Yeah, my wife and I got on the wait list and just managed to go last week, and it is so much better now. As soon as you get in town, you got to try it out.
I cannot wait. It is a magical place. Naj, I don't know if you know about this place, but they did it's so epic that they did an episode of it in South Park.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Based on it. Yeah. And the guys, the creators of South Park, it was an institution in Colorado for like decades, I think.
Since like 73, 74, around there?
Yeah, something like that. And anyway, it went under. They kicked in and became the new owners, redid it, did it better, bigger, better, and more amazing, and yet still kind of kept the traditions alive. So
it's really cool when you go in there. They actually have like a little museum set up near the entrance about the history of the place and how far it fell, but also how much they've put it all back together. It's really nice. And listen out. Trey Parker and Matt Stone are the voices of like everything in there now, because I think they just wanted to. So if you go to like
what kind of food do they serve?
Mexican.
Oh, it's a Mexican food place.
And the best thing are the sopapillas.
Absolutely.
This like pillow of doughy goodness that you fill with honey, and it's just amazing. So yes, I know Casa Bonita.
Well, I also want to ask, being a Colorado boy, what other places do you go to for food? Like, what are your favorite local spots?
Oh, geez. It has been a while since I've been there. We used to go to Dino's for pizza. They are sadly no longer with us. They didn't make it through the pandemic, unfortunately. But that used to be one of the ones. And also just a normal hangout. There was a Perkins near our high school. I used to be on the speech team, and we used to go there and hang out. After the speech team, believe it or not.
What kind of food they have at Perkins?
It's like Denny's, so American diner type food.
Good old fashioned diner type stuff.
Yeah.
I'm more partial to Mexican food, but also Filipino food. I'm Filipino. My wife is Filipino.
Oh, nice.
There's this really great Filipino place in Aurora, and I always take my wife there for special occasions. But it's like an hour drive. So, but I think they actually just went under. Oh, hey, look who's joining us!
What's up,
Spider-Man?
What's
the
up,
other Spider-Man?
Can you hear me? Okay? Can you see me? Okay?
Yeah. Sounds good.
What?
Yes.
What?
What?
In the building.
I was stalling for time until you got here by asking about restaurants, since
Thank
Jim is
you. I
also from
appreciate
Colorado.
I appreciate it.
Nice to see
Xavier,
you.
it's so
Yuri.
good to
have
see.
you back.
It's so good to see you. I'm sorry because of like a confusionary thing.
No, it's cool.
I just made up.
This is Yuri's third time on my channel.
That's true. It's true. We
maybe fourth. We're working on something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. But
yeah.
but
Excellent.
It's cool to have you back.
It's cool to be here. Hi everybody. It's Spooderman. Spooderman is here.
I saw that you had so many orders today. Is your arm sore like all the way to the shoulder from signing?
I did good. Luckily Tara was here to help me. So
yeah.
so that helped out a lot. As a matter of fact, there was one that they got through. Here's this is for who is this for? This is for Alex. Thank you, Alex, for the correct use of Frankenstein's monster and not Frankenstein, who is the doctor, not the creature.
Did you sign one for Anna?
I did.
That might be for my wife.
Yeah, I was wondering. I almost put like a Mendoza, like a you're not related to, on there.
Yeah, but I think that's my
I didn't
wife.
Want to,
my mom told me she bought one for my wife earlier.
That is.
I
may have to go through. I may have to go through them and pick up, add a little something extra.
Oh, that would be so awesome of you. So I actually have a bunch of questions here. And,
yes, go because unfortunately I don't have too much time, but let's do it. I'm just so happy to see my friends here along with you. I know I've been lavishing the praise on you, Xavier, but my friends at Jim and Najee.
Good to see you too, brother.
Spider-Man and Craven.
I know.
Well, if you want, I can just kind of speed run a couple questions with you, Yuri, until you have to leave. All right.
Do it.
So Peter Parker has had many voices over the last 65 years, dating back to the great Paul Soles through Dan Gilvezan or Christopher Daniel Barnes. Were there any previous portrayals of Peter Parker that you took inspiration from? Not necessarily to emulate, but to just get into the right headspace as an actor.
Oh man, I don't think that I modeled my Peter Parker or found inspiration from any single Peter Parker, but it would be disingenuous for me to say that my Peter Parker is not influenced by all the Peter Parkers that have come before me. Just because I've been a huge comic book nerd and cartoon nerd and movie nerd for since I was a kid, and so I've ingested a lot of Spider-Man content, and I know for sure some of it has influenced me, but I didn't single out one.
Yeah, I would say that makes sense, because when you're doing the role, I feel like there's some times where I'm like, that's definitely something that I could almost hear like Christopher Daniel Barnes Spider-Man saying, or sometimes where it's like, that was a very Josh Keaton way to say that. But then there's a lot of times where I'm like, you know what? That was totally Yuri. I can't hear any Spider-Man but his delivering that line. So you put a lot of your own self into it. Hey, everybody in the chat, make sure to check out the link in the description in case you want to grab more autographs from these fine fellas. And we're going to keep going for another couple of minutes here, but you don't want to miss these, okay? Let's keep these guys signing. You don't want them to get tired. Let's see. Has it been weird going to work for the past 7-ish years and having to refer to your wife by your own first name for several hours a day?
That has never not been weird. Because as the players know, my wife plays Yuri Watanabe and my real name is Yuri, and sometimes I'm screaming Yuri and I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the character, but then that character is also my wife. So
I gotta say, you guys have great chemistry. I loved all of the Peter versus Yuri Watanabe, like the Wraith side missions in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. How did you work on that chemistry? How did you work on that chemistry? How did you get that?
You guys talk a lot outside of work? Or something?
It only took like 22 years of marriage to get that.
You did the homework and it shows.
Exactly right. It's funny how sometimes Yuri and Pete have more chemistry than MJ and Pete, but that's not our fault. It just comes with the relationship.
Natural.
I just miss Spider Cop. I miss the Spider Cop banter.
Who knows? Maybe they'll do that in the third one.
Right.
Now for Yuri, how did you react when they told you for Spider-Man 2018 that you need to do an alternate take for nearly all of the dialogue in the game, depending on if Spidey was swinging or walking?
Oh man, that was something that the team came up with after we had already started, right? Najee, like, I mean, I want to say, I mean, I know you were doing a little less swinging in that first game than in the Miles game that came afterwards.
It was a process.
But that was we had already recorded a bunch of stuff, and then they said, "Hey, we've got this idea. Let's go back and we'll try some of this." And well, you know, on one hand, it was exhausting to have that many, you know, sort of different like states to have to record, especially since to get the movement. And I know Najee can speak to this too. Like I have to move my body in the booth, like I have to pretend like I'm web sling to get that sort of, you know, out of breath, you know, lung compression thing. And but then it also takes, like, if you have to record a line twice as many times, it takes twice as long, and we get paid per session. So it ended up working out in our favor, and that
gotta love that.
We ended up getting paid
more. It was
more.
such a cool concept because no one had ever really done that before for a game, is like player state kind of contextually influenced dialogue, because that actually other game developers have started copying it. I noticed Jim Peary, you're in the new Dead Space remake. You play Captain Matthias in it.
Yes.
In that game, I
game.
noticed they actually kind of copied Spider-Man's voice system. In that game, the main character has 3 different versions of all of his lines depending on what his health is at. So he sounds more injured if he's low health. And it's just kind of interesting how they pioneered a sort of new thing for games. It's like a whole new level of immersion.
You know, we made a joke about it because we didn't know if it was going to work or that people would even notice, you know, as they were playing. And as it became apparent that people did notice and they thought it was cool,
there was
we were all like,
about
"Oh
it.
no!" Like every other.
Now everyone's got to do this.
Oh, you guys suck. Now we have to do that.
Oh man.
Hey, thanks for all the Spider Cop love in the chat. I'm loving that. Part man, part cop, or sorry, part man, part spider, all cop.
Now Yuri, in the past, you voiced Spider-Man, Superman, The Flash, Shazam, the Winter Soldier, Mr. Miracle, Iceman, Icicle, Lagoon Boy, Ben 10, Donatello, Leonardo, the Lizard, and He-Man. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Yes.
That's the question.
Yeah. Oh, yes. That is crazy. It's a one-word answer. The answer is yes. But as you know, as like a longtime nerd, like there's nothing better than voicing, you know, characters that I grew up with and love. They get a special check mark in my book. They get like a red check mark. Like, check. Yeah.
I think your Superman in particular is really underrated. I just started watching Legion of Superheroes the other day, and you're really good in it.
The show is so good. It's like I
think that was
it was a timing thing. It was weird at Warner Brothers, you know, at that time, and I think that if that show came out today, it would be huge.
Now, I actually have a couple of questions for Yuri and Najee. Don't worry, Jim. I'll get back to you. It's just that they're the title character. They get special preference. Worries. But I had questions for both of you together to kind of answer. Just, you know, given that you
just sit back there and be Craven, Jim. Like, I just love looking at Jim and seeing Craven now. Like, it's
when he looks like him. It's just like him.
I mean, I will tell you, you know, when I remember those callbacks, and you know, a lot of great people showed up that day. But Jim walked in and I went, "Oh my God, that guy looks like Craven."
That guy is Craven.
And well, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
So for Yuri and Najee, how has your dynamic evolved both as actors and as your characters as Miles' role has changed throughout the course of all 3 games? Because you went from being sort of just a supporting character to full on right there on the cover art of the games, you know?
Oh.
So, like, how's working together for you changed over the last 3 games?
I mean, it's been great, but as we've worked together longer, we've known each other longer. And he's seen me turn into an old man, and I've seen him grow into a young man. So, you know, like it's funny how sort of our experience, you know, in life has mirrored sort of how the games have gone. I mean, how's it been for you now?
Art imitates life. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's definitely been like a growing process, you know. Just having him, you know, off camera as well too, teaching me the ropes of just being in the industry and you know how to conduct yourself, and then you know just being a part of what's outside the industry that comes with this role as well too. So just having everything and having like the best vets in the game to be involved with this, you know, it's a blessing. So I couldn't ask for anything better, man. It's been a process, a slow process with Miles. You know, playing him as a kid and now playing him as like a young adult. It's crazy.
It's been nice really growing with the character because you go from I actually went from a playthrough of Spider-Man 2 back to Spider-Man 1, and it's like, wow, everything is so different. They've gone through so much already, and it's not even the trilogy isn't even done yet, but there's just been so much growth, and it's been cool seeing the way those characters have changed throughout time. They've learned to trust each other. They've gotten both better at their respective jobs, both as the new guy and as the mentor. So it's cool seeing how you guys in real life have influenced that. And here's a question for you two. Since Spider-Man, these games have been all about costumes. Everyone loves costumes. What are your two main suits when you play Marvel Spider-Man 2? Both of you.
Oh, man. Naj, have you started playing? Have you played it already? You can be honest.
Actually, I've been moving. So
really?
Yeah.
You haven't played it yet?
I know the game. I that's the only thing. Like when you've been so engulfed in, you know, putting the time and the work into making the game, you kind of know all the ins and outs. So
I suppose.
It kind of takes away from the surprise. I love seeing the reactions though. That's what I live for. But when I kind of know the game, you know, front and back, kind of like takes away from, you know, the surprise. But my favorite suit of all time is the 2020 suit.
That one's really good.
Oh,
Yeah. Most likely the Takashi suit in the new one, possibly.
I'll tell you, I've been, you know, I famously like 3%ed the first game and walked away. But because now that I have a son who wanted to play the game, we finally finished the first game and we've moved on to the second game. So I'm actively playing the second game now, and by that I mean I'm watching him play. He only throws the controller to me when he gets frustrated that he's not getting through something, and then it takes me twice as long as him. So I don't know why he does that, but I mean, I would say there's some cool like that Kumo suit, the Japanese Spider-Man, like traditional Spider-Man suit is badass. I love the Arachnite suit just because I'm a Moon Knight. Everybody knows I'm a diehard Moon Knight guy.
Me too.
That's fun, but. See, oh my God!
Oh wow!
How did I not know
my
that
friend
about
Dane.
You?
I've been super into Moon Knight forever. My friend Dane Amiot, he's a comic artist. I had him draw that for me, and I got it tattooed.
That's beautiful.
We're gonna have to, I know we talk a lot of Ben 10 and a lot of Spider-Man. We're gonna have to talk Moon Knight someday.
But sure, hit me up whenever.
Awesome. Yeah, there are a lot of
everyone, be sure to hit that link in the description to get more autographs from these fellas.
Feel free. Feel free.
Now, I also wanted to ask, who can jump higher, Peter or Miles?
Miles.
Okay, thank you. That's the correct answer.
In real life, Najee can jump higher than me. and in the game, when you first get that thing where you can sort of press down and jump up, I think you're Miles when you learn that. So yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple of questions for Najee now.
Which is perfect timing because unfortunately I have to run. I know.
Yeah, no worries. It was still great having you for the time that we got you.
Likewise. Oh, you want to know what? I'm not going to do a commercial for the chips that I'm eating. I just saw that in the, but they're barbecue flavored. You want that?
Nice.
I'm a barbecue chip guy.
I'm gonna have to remember.
Thank y'all so much, and it's so. Yeah, I want to play Moon Knight too, but it's never going to happen because I'm already Spider-Man. But you never know. Maybe in some other. You were
Superman and Shazam and the Flash.
Okay,
you could do it.
Good point.
You got the range.
Hashtag Yuri for Moon Knight. But thank you all so much. It's great to see you and my guys, Jim.
Yeah.
Great to see you too.
Can't wait to have you back.
See
you again next time. Okay.
Awesome.
Take it easy, Yuri.
See y'all later.
We love you, Spider-Man.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
Now, Najee, I want to ask you, how has it felt getting to play a character as important and popular as Spider-Man at such a young age? I mean, has it been surreal getting to see your face under that mask over the last couple of years? Because
Yeah,
I mean,
man,
it's
for
you. You're
sure.
him. You're Spider-Man now.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's definitely been a great journey, and man, I'm continuing the road, man. It's been a ride, since I've been doing it since late teenage years till now. So yeah, man.
And that actually leads into my other questions. So you played Sam in Last of Us, which was
Yes.
released over 10 years ago now.
Yes.
Has the motion capture and voice
Crazy.
acting process for video games changed much since your first experience doing that game for Naughty Dog?
Yeah, for sure. New equipment, new gear, and just new technology wise, definitely because a lot of things have progressed over the years.
You think it's gotten like easier?
PlayStation. Yeah, you say easier.
Now, you've played two unique versions of Miles Morales in two separate high-profile Spider-Man projects, and a lot of other ones, but the two biggest were the Disney XD animated series and the games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you try to approach both takes on Miles differently depending on the project, or is he always kind of just the same character in your eyes?
He's grown. He's definitely grown. I played him since he was 13, so he's definitely grown and has matured through the years from like middle school, high school, into like now reaching college. So the progression has definitely changed with like the voice and just his mannerisms, and him getting into that mode of being Spider-Man.
Now, I wanted to ask Jim. So you've previously voiced Mr. Freeze in Injustice 2 and Rick Flag in the new Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah.
Between those two and Craven, of your three main comic book voice roles, which one would you have a beer with and why?
Oh. I'd say beer? Craven. I think Rick's a little too by the book. He'd be kind of stuffy, I don't know. He'd be a little too militaristic. Whereas Craven, I think in addition to some hunting, he's also done some good living. So
he's got some good
I'd
stories,
share,
I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. He comes from some aristocracy and has quite a lot of fun. So I'm sure partying with him would be really good. It's kind of like going out with an oligarch who who has really good taste. And so I could see him. I definitely want to party with Craven.
But Mr. Freeze could keep your drink cold for you.
That's true.
He was waiting for that
one. I was waiting. I actually wrote that down. I wrote that like 3 weeks ago. What I was doing to prepare for this, as I was going and digging through everyone's IMDb's, I was like, what's a weird, obscure question I could ask them to just throw something funny their way?
That's funny.
I also saw that you were, I think you were Calendar Man in one of the Lego DC games.
That's right.
Before I saw Mr. Freeze, I actually had him listed in that question.
I would not want to drink with Calendar Man though.
Well, at least you would be punctual about it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. But everybody in the chat, once again, hit up that link in the description so we can keep on moving. Now, I actually had a couple of questions for all of you, but our cast kind of thinned out today, but I guess it'll just be the two of you then. If you could play one other comic book character than the one that you play now, who would it be and why?
Ooh. I'm so happy having played Craven. I loved this version of it. And
I really did too.
It was there with the writing, the whole team headed up by Lauren Meat, and creative director Brian. They just came up with this amazing take on it, and there is no other one I'd want to play.
Someone in chat said you do a good Dr. Doom voice, though. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
maybe if that
would be fun.
Opportunity ever came up.
That would be fun.
Same for you, Najee. If you could play any other comic book character, who do you think?
Alador the Hunter.
Ooh. I would probably say the Punisher.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Punisher fan as well, actually.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you. See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have like a younger take on the Punisher. I'm always interested in like reinventing that character because he's just been around so long. Now, I also had a question. What material did you use to research for your roles or get more invested in your characters, be it comics, animation, or other games?
Naj, you want to?
I wouldn't say anybody because Miles was so new. So I kind of just gave my own take on it. But I grew up watching guys like Static Shock and
That show's so good.
man, yeah, was part of my childhood. So things like that I kind of reminisced on. But throughout the process of auditioning for Miles, and of course Peter Parker, that was a number one thing too. But yeah, I mean, just going through the motions, I kind of just stuck to my roots and kind of stuck to my youth because Miles was fairly young, so kind of just stuck to what I knew as a kid and growing through like the manhood motions and growing up with a single mom and all that stuff to put into his headspace of why he has his power and what he uses his power through.
How about you, Jim? Did you read any comics or get into Kraven in a particular way?
I thought about it in times in the past for other roles. I have done a lot of research, but for this one, I didn't want it to be derivative. I didn't want to take after someone else. And the first indication to me was the writing was so good because everything was motivated. There were, layers to him. It wasn't just like a two-dimensional bad guy. And so knowing that, I was like, okay, I want to get into it. But one of the things that helped me, I for this thing, I approach everything differently, but were some songs.
Really?
And for me, yeah. So like for a certain part, there was I listened to right before we did it, Barber's Adagio for Strings. It's just one of this. It's just this beautiful piece that kind of helped get me. The other thing was Duast by I'm blanking on him now. Rammstein. And it's got this kind of very Slavic don 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 don, and it's very it kind of gets into it. But the one that you wouldn't think would help me that actually did was Pink's "So What."
Really?
No. I want to start a fight. That one. And it's because I'm a rock star. That whole thing is just like, let's go. Let's
just put you in the headspace.
Freaking go. Yeah. And so like before fight scenes and stuff like that, I would listen to that. And it was like, no, and I also kind of like no one knows that I'm listening to Pink doing this. And it just kind of, it was a little secret for
Kraven. So cool. If I could recommend anything, I would say I would love, and if you ever get the chance, I would love to hear your Kraven voice reading lines from J.M. DeMatteis's Kraven's Last Hunt, because that is kind of the definitive Kraven the Hunter story. And I just think it would be so cool hearing you do some of those monologues from that book.
Thank you, Xavier. I agree. I haven't read it yet, but I did order it, because Kraven.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah. Now, let's see, what else do I got here? This is I actually asked a couple of people on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube for a couple of questions from them in case I couldn't figure out any more to throw in. A good one that I got from Star Ignite on Twitter is, what is everyone's favorite line from Spider-Man 2 that you recorded and why? So of all the lines that made it into the game, which one do you think really was your favorite?
They're like children. I don't know if I have a favorite. Naj, do you have one?
Oh man, probably has to be one from Venom. This thing like "Let's Heal the World" or something. Yeah.
Venom had some. Well, it's because Tony's voice was so perfect for it.
Yeah,
he really stole those lines. He made them very chilling. I love Tony's Venom voice. It's a shame he couldn't make it here today. He got called back on the set kind of last minute. But The guy's a legend, and his take on Venom is probably one of my favorite voices for the character. I'm really hoping he does that one again.
Yeah. I will see in the chat, Nadeem. That's the one I was thinking of. He wrote, "I see a hunter, but I sense a beast." I think it's "I see a man, but I sense a beast." I think, and that was actually it kind of cues you into his Craven's power of perception, and you see the excitement of him, wanting to find a worthy adversary. And there's so much about that I really liked. And also he's doing it more in a position where he's like, empowered. So there was so many fun
I really
things about
loved a
that
lot
line.
of the scenes that you shared with Yuri as Spider-Man, where you're kind of goading him into being angrier and angrier, letting the symbiote take over so you have someone better to fight. Those are some of the best scenes in the game, I think, is just Kraven just trying to make himself a better prey so that he could get that big fight that he's looking for.
Yeah. I mean, wanting to go out with the best, with the ultimate challenge, not wanting to take the easy way out, and so that means you have to go out with the baddest predator. I loved that about Kraven, that he wanted the biggest challenge, as a way of leaving this world. And I don't know, I understand.
Definitely one of the most memorable moments from the game. It kind of caught me off guard. I was like, is this rated M? No, this is a PG game. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's a really mind-blowing moment with Kraven that you just have to see for yourself. Let's see, what else do I got here? From D. Keefe on YouTube, is it ever uncomfortable to do vulnerable and intense line reads around other people in the studio? And that's for both of you.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, you're just like so in the moment, you're so focused, and you just kind of like lose yourself in the character, right?
Correct. Yeah, man. You just kind of just go with the scene, man. You got to tap in. Everyone else around you is gonna, do the same once they see you following suit. So
I think that's well. You go ahead. I was just gonna say. I mean, you got to get used to performing for an audience. So I suppose it's something that you guys are probably more accustomed to.
Yeah, that's not so much a thing anymore. Maybe when I was starting out as an actor, sure. But we're all storytellers, and so like whenever you're around your fellow storytellers, you want everyone to realize the story as deeply as possible, as realistically as possible. So if that means being vulnerable, or whatever, or going to some extreme emotion, we support our fellow players in doing that. And because it makes it fun, and when they do it, it just inspires you to go even stronger, and it's a lot of fun.
Because you got to know, everyone on set is there to make sure that you give the best performance you can. They want it to be as good as it can be. So they're all with you,
Yeah. So it's a very safe environment.
Right.
From JDog Cosplay on Twitter, do any of you guys have any good behind the scenes stories while recording lines or doing the motion capture?
Thinking.
Ooh, I want to say it's a lot of good food.
Is there good catering at the mocap session?
There is definitely.
Yeah. We definitely have fun on set at lunchtime.
Yeah.
Have a good 30 minutes to an hour, and we just get to hang around with each other and crack jokes and talk about life.
Yeah, I always really enjoyed hanging out with the stunt crew too. They were just like so super talented and just chill people. And yeah, it was that was probably actually some of the most fun was hanging out in the in between scenes and stuff with everyone. Definitely love that.
Hey, everybody in the chat, make sure to hit up that link one more time. We're getting close to the end here, but just want to make sure that everyone's reminded of that one last time. I'm actually surprisingly running out of questions. You know, I did have a couple of written down for Tony, but I guess I'm gonna have to ask him some other time. Let's see. Well, I guess this is a question I could come up with off the cuff. So Jim, you also voiced the chameleon in the game. What was that like? Were you trying to make it any particularly different from your Kraven voice? Since there's a familial connection there.
In this game?
Yeah.
I did not.
You didn't?
I didn't.
That's funny because that actually, I saw you listed as the voice for that on the internet. I think someone may have miscredited that.
I think that's a miscredit. Yeah.
Huh.
I hate to inform you.
Okay.
I just did.
Well, someone's got to correct that on the Wikipedia then.
Well, you know, the internet it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What's out
Sometimes
there.
they just sort of assume stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just done by bots. So you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know,
and the other day I saw someone listed the credits for an upcoming Spider-Man movie and put Norman Reedus as Aunt May, and I don't know how that would work.
Oh, that's awesome.
You gotta love when a goof like that happens.
That's really funny. Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, let me go to the chat here and see if anyone's got anything.
I see a question there by Rain asking me what accent did I use for Kraven voice. That's a great question. There was if you guys remember in the original John Wick, the father of the guy, I was looking when we were auditioning, we originally started with like a very thick Russian accent, the normal kind of one, but it didn't sound right. And then there's a story that either that one of the guys, Patrick, thinks that I was eavesdropping and overheard, whereas Bobby, the animation director, and I think that he just told me straight up. We're looking for something else, something kind of like the guy from John Wick. And I'm like, oh, the father. And one of the lines that he says is, can I curse here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I drop F-bombs? Okay, cool.
Yeah, sure. I do.
Where it's the guy he's talking to his son who killed
John Wick's dog.
Killed Keanu's dog. And he's like, what is it? He says something like, he's not the boogeyman. He's the guy who killed the fucking boogeyman. And it's that guy that I took about 80%. I didn't want to do an impersonation of him, but like that kind of because he's more like an oligarch kind of thing, which is what this modern interpretation of Kraven was. I really liked that, and then switch it up a little bit as well.
Yeah,
but that's one of the main influence for that was that guy.
Naji, I saw a question in the chat here. Is your natural speaking voice is clearly a lot deeper than Miles' voice in the games. Is it harder as you get older to kind of hit that high register to play like a younger 15-year-old character as you age?
No, he's older now. To be honest, he's stepping into the college aspect of life. So people that played the game, they know he's finishing his college essay. So this is gonna be something that's
going to see a little bit of an older Miles in the new one, but don't want to spoil anything. All right. I think we're about out of time. You guys got anything you want to plug on social media? Anything you want to let anyone know in the chat?
No, just hit me up both on Insta and X at Jim_Puri.
Cool.
Yes. Instagram, Najito.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. I had a blast talking to you. It was cool. Got to learn a lot of new insights.
Yes, sir. I'll see you soon, Jim.
I look forward to it, brother.
All right. See you around, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, man.